Okay, so Happy Console Gamer's done this. Then Fem Trooper did this and she copied his intro. But then Upper Nimbus copied her intro. That means I've got to copy an Upper Nimbus intro. Right, I've better have a look at his videos.
I found the rarest game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Hey guys.
Oh, hello, John aka Chicken Fillets here, and yes, I am jumping on that bandwagon like Upper Nimbus and Fem Trooper and all my other YouTube friends. Yes, we're going to be looking at my 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games. Now with this, I have picked out 10 of my own Nintendo Switch games. Now they're not going to be just Nintendo centric, there will be third party games in here, and I have to actually include 2 honourable mentions as well. This was kind of a tough one to pick out 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games, so without any more blethering, let's have a look at this. Now before actually we get cracking on, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, well, let's help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, well, hit that notification bell. Right, let's get started. Now I mentioned that I was going to have 2 honourable mentions, so let's get these 2 games out of the way because I absolutely love these JRPGs. Well, it is Lost Sphere and Crosscode. These are amazing RPGs. Lost Sphere, if you've never played Lost Sphere before, it is from Tokyo RPG Factory, well, RIP because that's now been taken into Square Enix. Their goal was to create golden age JRPGs, and you could see the influences on the sleeve. It's a nice little JRPG, and really I think it's kind of underrated. Whereas Crosscode, I've talked about Crosscode on this channel many times. It's a 2D pixel art RPG, fast-paced action-based combat, and the story in this is awesome. So for my first Nintendo Switch 10 out of 10 game, well, it's Super Mario Odyssey. This is platforming perfection. Everything about this game is just immaculate. From the movements of Mario, I have never played a platformer where it just feels, it's really hard to describe, just feels so right. All the movements are so pinpoint precise. The little worlds that you go to, the likes of New Donk City, and you're able to jump on, you know, the little scooters and take over, throwing Cappy and taking over like dinosaurs and Goombas and all sorts. It's just such a fun title. It is, in my opinion, the best Super Mario, well, 3D Super Mario title. But yeah, Super Mario Odyssey.
Come on!
So this might be a surprise for being a 10 out of 10 JRPG on the Nintendo Switch. For me, Bravely Default 2. I think this is an absolutely awesome 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch game. Now with this, it did something that I'm not usually great with in JRPGs, which is the job system. Now, what sets us apart with other JRPGs with job systems is the battle system. Now you might be thinking, you're going a bit convoluted here. What are you on about? Well, what I mean by this is when you're trying to level up your jobs in this, you're able to speed up your battles, which makes the grind easy. Now, one thing with JRPGs, which most people struggle with, is the grind. I felt this really did not have that here. I love the characters, I love the setting. It really was a breath of fresh air compared to most JRPGs that I've been playing before this. Now, if you're a friend of the channel, this next game will be utterly no surprise that it's a 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch game. It's Harvestella, the Nintendo Switch exclusive JRPG from Square Enix, and yes, I know it's on Steam, but we're talking about Nintendo Switch games. This is a fantastic JRPG which completely took me by surprise. The thing with this game is that Square Enix marketed it as a farming sim game, which I keep on saying over and over again. It's not a farming sim, it's an action JRPG with light farming elements. And the story with this, it's a sci-fi story. I'm not going to go into the depths of it because honestly, the story just takes you completely by surprise. The characters are amazing, the combat's really good fun with this, and the music in this game is really great on the ears. What? Now at the time of recording, this is my current game on the Nintendo Switch that I am replaying for the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So you may have guessed what it is. It is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, the true remaster of Crisis Core from the Final Fantasy from the PSP. I'm going to get there eventually. Now this game focuses on Zack Fair, who is a important integral part of Cloud Strife's character arc, and is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. Now this remaster, remake, however you want to call it, has just taken everything and just brought it up to modern standards. The graphics is amazing with this, and I've said this before in this channel that Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch. The combat system has also been upgraded from the PSP version, aligning it more with Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a great game, it's not long, you can complete the story within 10 to 12 hours. There is, if you want to go for completion, you'll obviously get more time out of it. So yes, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII is a 10 out of 10 game on Nintendo Switch.
Boy oh boy. The price of freedom is steep.
Now next up, another JRPG shock horror. Well, I am a JRPG channel after all. It is Live Alive, the remake of the 1994 Japan-only classic on the SNES, and this is a fantastic HD 2D game. Now this, to me, is one of the best titles that came from that engine. The great thing about this game is there's 8 characters you can play as, which have individual stories which span time and space. And what's great is you don't have to sink so many hours into each story. For example, there is the modern day era where you play as this guy who's like the combat Street Fighter sort of connoisseur guy. I don't know why I'm using those words, but hey ho, you catch my drift. And his arc only takes an hour, whereas Cube's little arc takes 2 hours. You know, it's really good fun. The combat system, it's turn-based. It's just a perfect game for the Nintendo Switch, and it's now available on other consoles, the likes of the PlayStation as well. And with this being a Square Enix title, again, there's a demo for it, so if you haven't played it, I'd highly recommend that this is a game that you will fall in love with. Now originally when I was looking at my games, thinking about the 10 out of 10 games, this one was actually borderline for a while, but the more that I thought about it, and I thought to myself, this definitely deserves a 10 out of 10, especially that I completed the DLC which goes with this game recently. So that game is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the last in the trilogy of the Xenoblade Chronicles titles, apparently. You never know with Nintendo. And it follows Noah and Mia, and it's just it is the most fine-tuned out of the Xenoblade Chronicles game. It's the most mature out of all of them as well. The story is very deep, and it brings a lot together from Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So to get the full experience out of this game, I'd highly recommend playing Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 beforehand. This is just a breathtaking game on the Nintendo Switch. Graphically stunning. Anything to do with cel shaded graphics will always look great on any system, and the Nintendo Switch system is perfect for this game. Now another JRPG shock horror, yes I know, but it was a game that most JRPG fans were clamoring for to be brought to the Nintendo Switch, and that game is Persona 5 Royal. Now yeah, I know it's Persona, but I really think this is the perfect JRPG for the Nintendo Switch, because you can have this on the go, and this is a massive adventure. You could chill about 130 hours to 150 hours just on the story alone, and if you want to go for completion when doing all the other tasks, etc., you know, you could shell even 200 hours plus. This is the first time as well that I played the Royal Edition. I played the Persona 5 OG version, vanilla version on the PlayStation 4, and I was one of these daft people who originally thought that Persona 5S, when the leaks came out saying it was coming to Nintendo Switch originally, but it turned out to be Persona 5 Strikers. I sold my Persona 4 copy and I was a bit raging for that, but I'm just so happy to have this on the Nintendo Switch and being able to play as the Phantom Thieves. Yeah, can't sing the praises anymore about this game.
Wait a sec! Is that guy for real?
Okay, so we're down to the final 3 games. Now these games are actually some of my all-time favourite JRPGs or games in general, so you might be able to guess what's on this list. So this next 10 out of 10 game, well, it is one of my most, actually it is my most played game on the Nintendo Switch by time. It is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I have replayed this game so many times. I have done all 4 paths in this game. I've replayed it 5 times overall, and it is my first Fire Emblem game. I am on the camp, now this is a weird one, right? If you like Fire Emblem Engaged, perfectly fine. I tried to get into it, but I just couldn't. The story just didn't grab me. The gameplay was amazing. But I'm on the camp that this is the better Fire Emblem title on the Nintendo Switch. I think, again, it's because it's my first one. And I really just loved everything about it. The combat system is your typical Fire Emblem fare. But for this being my first, it will always hold a special place in my heart. Now next up, one of my all-time favourite action JRPGs, and it's known as one of the impossible ports which came to the Nintendo Switch, and it runs immaculately, by the way. It is Nier Automata, the End of Yora edition for the Nintendo Switch. This is just action JRPG heaven. The characters, 2B, 9S and A2 are amazing. The story is just out of this world. You will replay this so many times and you'll just want to delve deeper into the lore of this world. Everything about this game is amazing, and the fact that you can play this portably on the Nintendo Switch, it's a dream come true.
I never quite realized how beautiful this world is.
And finally, the last game on this list today is the reason I wanted a Nintendo Switch, and it's probably one of my all-time favourite JRPGs behind Final Fantasy VII and the remakes, blah blah blah. It is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, in my opinion, is the best entry out of the 3 on Nintendo Switch. And this to me is because this was my first Xenoblade Chronicles game. I love the story with this and the setting. Now, what really took my breath away is when you first go onto the first Titan, I think it's Gormott. It is an amazing feeling just being on the back of these Titans, these floating creatures where there's civilizations have birthed on there and there's animals on top of it and you're fighting all these creatures, and then the story beats with this I did not expect. And Rex is one of my favourite characters out of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 series, even though that a lot of people don't like the voice act, and I think I just what's one part of the charm of this game. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 I've shelled so many hours in. It's just behind Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it is definitely worthy of that 10 out of 10 moniker. So there we have it. Those are my 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games. What were your thoughts on this list? And actually, what are your 10 out of 10 games for the Nintendo Switch? You know what to do. Leave me a comment down below. Now, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on the channel, well, please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, well, hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye!